Hey everyone, Wayne Unger back for the next episode of our Election 2020 series where we discuss the issues ahead of this presidential election. Today's conversation is going to be about the United States Supreme Court, the concept of Supreme Court packing, and then Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation hearings, which are currently happening before the United States Senate Judiciary Committee. So let's look at it. The Constitution of the United States, Article 3, specifically establishes the federal judiciary. Now, it creates one Supreme Court and, quote, all inferior courts as Congress may decide. In other words, Congress has incredible decision-making power and latitude to create the federal judiciary as it sees fit, including the number of justices on the United States Supreme Court, because nowhere in the Constitution does it say that the Supreme Court justices, that number is fixed at 9. It doesn't say that. In fact, if you look at the course of the United States history, the size of the United States Supreme Court has actually changed 6 times. So originally there were 6 justices in about 1789. Then in 1801, President John Adams reduced the court to 5 justices. Then shortly thereafter, Thomas Jefferson restored it to 6 justices, and then he eventually added a 7th. Fast forward a little bit, under President Abraham Lincoln, there were actually 10 justices. Now, he sought to uphold the Union war policies in order to keep the Union together, hence why he needed more justices in order to have that majority. And then after his assassination in 1866, Congress fought a political war with President Andrew Johnson, and Congress reduced the number of justices to 7, and effectively they barred President Johnson from naming new justices to the United States Supreme Court. Then in 1869, Congress passed the Judiciary Act of 1869, which established that there would be 1 Chief Justice plus 8 associate justices. Keep that in mind. So no one since FDR has actually changed or sought to change the number of justices on the United States Supreme Court. So what did FDR do? Well, he proposed the Judicial Procedures Reform Bill of 1937. And in this bill, this was a proposal to add more justices to the United States Supreme Court in order to obtain a favorable ruling on some of his New Deal programs and procedures in order to build back the country. And ultimately, this bill failed in committee, so it never went anywhere, and he was never able to actually expand the number of justices on the United States Supreme Court. But if you look back at the history of the United States Supreme Court, the number of seats have actually fluctuated in order to give the ruling party more power. So this idea that more seats to give the ruling party more power, that is kind of, in essence, what has happened over the course of American history. Now, fast forward to today. Amy Coney Barrett is up for confirmation. She's been nominated by President Trump to fill Ruth Bader Ginsburg's seat after her death, her unfortunate death several weeks ago. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina is the chairman of the Judiciary Committee. Now, the Senate Judiciary Committee is responsible for holding the confirmation hearings and making a recommendation to the full Senate for a full vote on whether to confirm Amy Coney Barrett or not. Now, there's some hypocrisy from Lady G, aka Lindsey Graham, but more specifically, I just want to highlight some of the myopic views of Senator Lindsey Graham. So first and foremost, he's moving very quickly against his own word to confirm Amy Coney Barrett, against his own word to say, hey, the next president should actually handle this nomination. He said that back in 2015, 2016 timeframe. But Amy Coney Barrett could very well join the conservative wing of the United States Supreme Court, and that conservative wing could overturn, for example, one of the landmark cases in recent modern times, Obergefell v. Hodges. Now, Obergefell, if you're unfamiliar, is the case that legalized gay marriage from coast to coast. Now, Justices Alito and Thomas said a couple of weeks ago, I think it was actually last week, that they were going to overturn it. They want to overturn it because they thought it was a judicial overreach or judicial activism, and that this should be let up. This decision should be left to state legislatures and Congress. Now the GOP has argued that this is a legislature issue, that it should be decided by political branches. I just want to highlight one thing here. Obergefell is the law of the land, and gay marriages have been constitutional or legal for years now. So if a state legislature were to suddenly have the power to legislate gay marriage, then certainly we could see some very conservative state legislatures overturn the recognition of gay marriage, and that would leave thousands and thousands of gay couples up for like who knows what. They'd be kind of in no man's land. Now, Senator Lindsey Graham has been rumored to be gay for years. You can Google that. I'm not making that up. And if he is gay, which I'm not arguing that there's anything bad about being gay because I am a gay man myself, but if he is gay, he's potentially moving forward with a nominee to the United States Supreme Court who could overturn Obergefell, which allows him to get married. Now, this is counterintuitive and it's against his own self-interest, so I just fundamentally don't understand. But that's beside the point. RBG, this idea of court packing, RBG actually said a few years ago prior to her death that she believed 9 justices on the United States Supreme Court was the right amount. But ultimately, Congress gets to decide this issue. And should the Democrats take the White House and should the Democrats take the Senate, and assuming that the Democrats hold on to the House, we could very well have the Democrats leading all 3 sections of our federal government, right? The Senate, the House, and the White House. And in this particular case, should Congress decide to expand the number of justices on the United States Supreme Court, they would have the constitutional authority to do so. Now, politically, the arguments are, well, you could face retribution from the conservatives in a future election. Should the conservatives take control, they could add more justices, and this just leads to kind of a tennis volley or volleyball volley back and forth, where we're just constantly adding justices to the United States Supreme Court. But eventually we have to recognize that there is an appropriate number on the United States Supreme Court. We have to entertain the idea of whether expansion of the United States Supreme Court makes sense. It may not just be for political reasons. It may be judicial economy reasons. So, for example, should the Supreme Court take on more cases to solve maybe more circuit splits, which is one of the reasons why they hear a case? I argue, hey, maybe there are judicial economy reasons to expand the Supreme Court. I tread very lightly on whether we should do it for political reasons. So that is Supreme Court packing, and today's confirmation hearings in a nutshell. I'll be back probably tomorrow with another conversation for you all. Take care.